This is our fucking city.
Yeah.
And nobody gonna dictate our freedom. Stay strong. Thank you.
You must be blinded by the lights. You came to shine here. Watch it look daytime in the night. We bring the vibes here. We full of life, you keep the change.
All right. We are live. Okay. We just thought we were live a second ago, but we are live now. Welcome to our Bleepin City. This is the first episode, inaugural episode on YouTube. So excited to have y'all on the show, joining us from wherever you are, from America and around the world.
Well, we know we've got Canada in the house.
We do. And as the monologue I just said, I got practice because it wasn't live. But now that we're live, basically the monologue that I just said was big shout out to my boy, one of my best friends, and one of I call him my ride or die from my IESR, my man Taryn Rodriguez. If I had the sound effect, which I'll be working on, we're working out the kinks. the first official YouTube episode. Big shout out, Taryn Rodriguez left the first, just well-wishing comment right away. Meant a lot.
And I wouldn't have expected anyone but Taryn.
Would not have expected it any other way. So big shout out to Taryn, who left the first comment. Dude knows, one of my best friends from my previous station. One of the smartest people I know when it comes to volleyball and all things California sports. If I had the applause thing ready, big applause to Taryn. We love you, man. Thank you for that first ever comment. First comment. So when there's a trivia show,
Taryn is now an answer
25
to a
years
trivia.
down the road, and we're as big as like Joe Rogan getting a $100 million Spotify contract.
Yep.
And the trivia question is, who was the first comment ever on YouTube?
And the answer is only possible.
It will be the one, the only, my man Taryn Rodriguez. So Taryn, applause to you.
And then we've got our first international viewer.
And okay, we're gonna go down the line.
Yeah.
I will put in if my love for people that are watching. You put in a comment, we will put it on the show and shout you out. Next up on the list is my man Jazz, ultimate Patriots fan up north in Canada.
Yep. He is the unofficial motivational guru for all the Boston teams. He stays positive when everybody else is freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets to be our motivational coach too.
Yeah.
Which I love.
And I'll say this about Jazz. He was a huge part of me being elected into the IE Sports Radio Hall of Fame. That dude campaigned for me. He
campaigned hard.
Oh man. And anytime I'm feeling down and feeling like, I don't know how I'm feeling about the team.
Mm-hmm.
Who do I go to? Jazz will be there to lift me up. So
because
Jazz,
he's the unofficial motivational speaker.
So Jazz, applause to you. Next up on the list,
we've got number one Celtics fan.
The Celtics fan. He beats me. He beats everybody. Okay, this guy knows his Celtics and is just a great friend.
And his music trivia.
Great friend of the show. Just a big presence in Celtics Nation Twitter. Harry, man, welcome. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Harry might be the only person who loves Abby more than we do.
Oh man, I don't know. Abby she's the best.
She's a legend.
Between us and Harry, we will never let another network steal Abby.
Oh my goodness.
She is the best.
Yep.
So Harry, so glad to have you on the show and listening in.
And during a Celtics game.
That's it. And it's we know what the outcome of the Celtics game is going to be, but yes.
This one's a little interesting because we're down KP and we're down DW. So
but we don't want to encourage everyone to be leaving our inaugural show,
I hear ya.
But we got it on the background, so if anything does happen. And for those of you tech savvy people, you probably have it split screened anyway.
Of course.
So much appreciate all the kind words from Jazz. it's such, that's, as I said on when I was doing on the other network, the best part of this is the friends you make, the people you meet along the way, the good, just the relationships you make, and
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, thank you, Jazz, for doing that campaign, and everyone that had voted for me, and I hadn't really had a chance to thank everyone too on being elected to the IE Sports Radio Hall of Fame. So, and you were a big part of that too. So, anyways, we have a lot of great sports talk, sports news to get into today. It was as I named the episode. It is the Jerod Mayo Era, and fittingly, I put his picture back here.
Yeah.
From his great playing days, because not only for the young fans, not only was he not only is he a great coach, has been a great coach these past few years, he was a fantastic player as well.
Huge presence on the field.
Yes. So very excited. We saw the press conference today. As Kraft pointed out, it's the first time in a quarter of a century that we've had a new coach in New England. And he said there was probably 200 something coaches across the league that have been hired and fired since.
Wow. It was I saw the statistic. It was crazy. It was 200 and something. You're right.
It was amazing. So here in Boston, we experienced something that we haven't experienced in a long time.
Yeah.
But my initial impressions, takeaways from that was it was really refreshing.
Oh yeah.
It was really refreshing.
Yeah.
It's Bill, as great of a coach, as great of a coach as he is probably the most unentertaining, boring, just lifeless dude.
But only for the press conferences. You have to be specific, because anybody that knows him on a personal level will talk about his sense of humor, and we'll talk about obviously his knowledge, but just, he's a different person when he's got cameras staring him down.
That is true. So
I think that's an important distinction.
That is very true. Which we saw a glimpse of that in his exit interview, where one of the first times I think in my life I've seen him show some real emotion.
Actual emotion, yeah.
In the press conference.
Yeah.
Maybe after they've won championships,
you see the exuberance.
Yes, but that was it almost made me tear up a little bit. So so yes. Well, and give me some of your takeaways, Steph, from his initial press conference today.
Okay, so first of all, I've been in the Mayo camp the whole time. So I was always pro Mayo. I was hoping he'd be the next choice. I never wanted McDaniels. I don't know why anybody. Let me back that up for a second. I would love McDaniels back as the OC. I think he knows what he's doing with, especially, and honestly, I don't think he'd take this position, but I would even love him as a quarterback coach, specifically, and not the OC. I love the relationship he had with Tom. I love his knowledge of offense. But he's not well liked and respected as a coach. And that was never something that I thought was a good move. And I'm glad they didn't even think about going there. Yeah. But I love Mayo. I mean, I think, first of all, just seeing the reaction of the current players and his teammates, that says everything you need to know. People were coming out, the perfect example that I can think of is Ben Watson, who is not a huge social media presence at all. He's on, he's got his account.
He's very soft-spoken.
Exactly. And he's a quiet dude, and he's very private, and he's not showy. He's not gonna be posting stuff left and right.
Yeah.
And he posted some stuff about Mayo, and gives me an opportunity to actually give him a shout out, because I posted something in response to him and he replied to me, and it was so cool.
Highlight of the week.
It really was. Well, because it was also so thoughtful. He didn't just like it, or he didn't just put a heart or something. Because I was commenting about, so you and I were lucky enough to be at what was ultimately Brady's last Patriots game, as well as Watson's last game. And, you and I have talked about this. I have such a distinct memory of, the game ended and, the fans are walking, or not the fans, the players are walking off, and Watson just comes back out on the field and he's just looking around and you can see him taking it all in. And you and I just knew, you know, and so I commented on that and I said, that I remembered that moment and that I just knew, and I was hoping it wasn't the case. And, he gave me a really thoughtful response about what that felt like for him and everything. So I thought that was really cool.
Well, I met Ben Watson years ago. I think when he was a rookie outside Fenway Park. I was just, a wee little kid then. Or, I was shy back then.
Yeah.
And I said hi to him, and he could not have been gentler and more kind, and shook my hand. Ben Watson,
it's exactly what I think. Yeah.
And some of those memories, that was Brady's final game. Some of those things I'll never forget.
Exactly.
We didn't know at that time.
Right. We knew that it was likely Watson's last game, but we did not know for sure that it was Brady's. And Brady didn't come back out. I don't think Brady knew that it was his last game.
Quick big shout out to one of my dear friends from the IE Sports Radio, one of the great hosts and one of the great Chicago personalities, my man Adam Karnick. Welcome. Well, thank you for tuning in. Adam is, I'm going to be keeping in touch quite a bit with Adam because
because he's got Foligno.
Well, they got Foligno, but there's going to be a lot of very interesting things. Chicago and New England now are going to be quite tied in for a long time.
For the next couple of months in particular.
And for potentially years and years and years, depending on how this draft goes.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you always have
what this team did and what this team did and where the performance.
Look at the Peyton Manning draft. It was Peyton Manning and it was Ryan Leaf. Okay.
Yep.
San Diego and Indianapolis. And those two cities are tied together. And it was it was one decision that affected both franchises in massive repercussions for years to come. And they'll always be tied together.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling this draft will.
It could. We don't know yet.
Well, it looks pretty certain that Chicago is ready to move on from Fields.
Right. I think the Patriots are less certain what their plan is.
I think it's.
I don't think it's a done deal.
I would say.
I don't think it's a done deal.
I would say.
I really don't.
I would say 90% it's going to be a QB.
No, I think it's 50-50.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. There's Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And I don't like Caleb Williams. You and I know, you and I have talked about, I do not like him.
His
I think
draft,
he's prima donna.
His stock is definitely falling.
Well, it's not even that. No, his talent is there.
Yeah. His stock is fallen.
I don't think that's true.
That's not what I've heard.
I don't think that's true. I mean, his talent, his raw talent is unmatched by other people in the draft.
That is true.
His raw talent, he is number one.
Have you seen Jaden Daniels highlights?
Yeah.
I would put him right there.
I've talked to a bunch of people that really know their stuff. But anyway.
I'm just going by the eye test. You know, I am no expert. I do not claim to watch college football religiously.
And exactly.
I really, I lean on my buddies, people that actually watch college football for the things. But just by going, I mean, we all do it. We all go to YouTube. What do you do?
Yep.
Check the highlight reel of the players that you think you're going to draft. Or
or the players that you hope you draft or whatever. Yeah.
The 7th round.
Yep.
I mean, who here has done this? Your team drafts a guy in the 7th round you've never heard of.
Oh, yeah,
you go to YouTube and you think you got the next Tom Brady.
Yep, because it's their best plays. So you just don't know what, that really translates to. But regardless, I do think that there is kind of a clear number one. And then, I think that the coaching moves that the Patriots make, if any, in the next, handful of weeks will dictate the direction that we go in the draft. I don't think it's a done deal that we're taking a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really interesting that Mac was there today. And I
big respect to Mac.
That's what I was gonna say. Man, that kid is tough.
Yeah.
Man, he is what class.
Yeah. Whatever happens to him, I'm rooting for him.
He has been put through the freaking ringer here between the change in offensive coordinator for 3 years in a row, giving him a freaking defensive coordinator to teach him for year 2, no receiver. Like, everybody's injured, no offensive line, the fans turning on him, making it out like Bailey Zappi's the next Tom Brady. Like, I mean, and he's there to support Mayo. And that speaks volumes for who Mac is. And that also speaks volumes for how respected Mayo is. Because he's not going to show up if he doesn't like the guy. So I mean, huge props to him.
So our dude Harry chimes in that his stock is down on
100%
on KLM after the Washington game. I did not see that game. I'm curious. Was that did he just wilt under pressure?
Was that the game that he refused to play? Because there was a game because he sat out.
Oh, I hated that.
He sat out.
I hated that.
But he is. But listen, I do not. I think he's talented, but I don't want him on our team. I don't want him anywhere near the Patriots. And I really think that the most upside might be Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, I really do.
I mean, he's a generational talent.
Exactly.
From what, as long as his career doesn't have any injuries and he stays on the course that he was in college, that's a generational talent. And yes, my man Adam does not fall into that trap that I have been so guilty of falling into and proclaiming having the next Randy Moss or Tom Brady by watching the highlights. I fall into it every year because I don't really watch a ton of college football. That's what we all do, But,
absolutely.
So, anyways, there's so much. I mean, this whole show could be a past show because there's so much still that's undecided. Who's going to be their OC? DC.
All of the coaching GM. Are they going to bring in a GM? What are they doing there? I liked so you asked my thoughts, about Mayo, and I didn't, fully say. So, I mean, I said I'm fully on board, fully support Mayo. Loved what he had to say today. Love the response that he's getting from players, from his former teammates, even around the league. Love that DMAC, crashed his press conference today. I mean, I love
Although DMAC is now, he's a legit member of the media. He does the NBC.
I know he is.
But yes
but he crashed. So I just, I thought it was really, really, one of the things that Mayo was talking about that I really liked and respected was how he views himself as a teacher and how he feels that his place in the world is to teach and to lead and to help, not tell people like what to do or how to do it, but to show them and teach them and guide them. And I just, I really respected.
Well, he said he made this clear. He's not going to try to be Bill.
Yes, which I also like that he said.
The majority of his disciples and assistants that have gone on to be coaches in other cities. That's been the mistake they've made is that they've tried to be Bill.
100%. There isn't another Bill.
And I don't think
do that
going forward. There really is not going to be in the future. Like the just the nature of the game and coaching and players these days. These old school coaches are getting phased out. And even Mayo acknowledged this. He said one of the things that he said was to gain their respect, you got to get to know them and show them that you care. And he also pointed out when I first came into the league, which was 08, he's still playing alongside guys like Brewski.
Absolutely.
And he said that these were back then, you just told guys what to do and they would just do it. And he basically insinuated that that's not the case anymore. You have to, these players, it's a different generation.
Exactly.
And I think Mayo acknowledged that you have to evolve. And I think that's one thing that Belichick, he was trying to change a bit, but it's not, you are who you are.
Right. Well, and I think Bill got away with it because he's Bill.
Well,
he could get away with not fully changing because his level of greatness, especially on a defensive end, is so he's so knowledgeable. And so these defensive guys, even the young guys, talk about how much they've learned from him and how much they appreciate learning from him. And I think they recognize, who they're talking to. But the reality is that you can't come in as the youngest coach in the league and be a dictator and just demand people to do what, you command. Bill could get away with it.
I'll say this. You can get away with almost anything.
When you win.
Aside from murder, we saw that in Aaron Andrews.
Yes.
When you're winning.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything.
100%.
Everyone buys in when you're winning.
Yes.
When you're not.
Yep. 100%.
He got a good 3-4 year leash. And once the losing, started and he wasn't kind of evolving,
right.
Yeah, that kind of doomed him.
Yeah, absolutely.
As Jazz pointed out, and I think we were talking, it was awesome to see Mac there.
Yeah, Jazz, we were saying, such respect to Mac. I mean, what character that kid has to go through what he's gone through here and to show up. And, he knows that he doesn't know what his future is here. I mean, he can't by any, in any possible way think that he is confident in knowing he's a Patriot tomorrow.
Absolutely.
He still showed face, which says a lot.
I love Harry Mann's point here. Jerod, we need fresh.
Yep.
We need a fresh everything almost.
Yeah.
The coaching,
and Kraft kind of said that.
Coaching philosophy now is definitely a fresh perspective. Jerod Mayo could not be more different.
Right.
In his
100%.
his personality, his approach.
Yep.
His way with the media. And as our dude Harry points out, I'd like to see one of these aggressive, creative, new offensive minds.
Right.
Start calling plays, because we've seen this in the past. We saw that a lot this year. How boring, like not creative.
I never wanted Bill O'Brien anyway.
Stagnant.
But, yeah.
Granted, injuries killed us, and we didn't have a lot of talent.
Yep.
But wouldn't that almost make you feel like you got to be more creative?
Right. At that point, why not bring Cunningham up and things like that? Play around with it. Do those things. Have Mac and Cunningham in there, and then you don't know is Malik going to be the receiver or the quarterback? They could have done some stuff. My only I absolutely agree that we definitely need some fresh ideas. My only thing is I also think we need experience in some realm. Josh
McDaniels. What do you say?
So I'm 50-50. So I'm okay with Josh McDaniels in one circumstance.
Okay.
And that is if we're planning on keeping Mac.
Okay.
But that also means we have to bring in other receivers. I do not want this, I've heard that they're already talking to KB. I hope they bring him back. I would love to see Zeke back, but I also want to see more. We need more, and Zeke said he wants to stay, and we know KB wants to stay.
Here's the exciting part about this offseason.
Yeah.
The Patriots have the most cap space out of any team.
We're second most. Someone has 75. I forget who has it.
Close enough.
But we're close. Yeah.
Close enough.
I forget who has it, but someone has 75.
Close enough.
Yep.
So I'm very excited to see them be aggressive in free agency.
100%. Yep.
The draft, because we're going to get some really great players.
Yep.
Coaching.
Yep.
And Jazz just touched my heart with this last comment. And he hasn't officially announced anything, but it sure looked
I think he's done.
Sure looked done.
I think he's done.
Man, I would love to see Slater come back for one more year.
I would too.
Because he would almost be like another coach.
Well, I was going to say, what if they brought him back as a player coach? I would totally be okay with that.
Yeah.
And have him do a little of both.
Yeah.
I would love to have Slade around with Mayo's first year and all of that. I also would understand it if he decided to hang it up. I mean, it's obviously a tough sport. It's a long season. It's grueling. He's got young kids. I'll
say on a personal note.
Oh, best guy out there.
This show right here.
Yep.
I'm not saying he's the reason, but
he's inspiration.
Before the show started, I talked with him, and he was so cool, and he from meeting him the first time to the second time I met him, was one of the most positive influences in kind of like almost like working in the media. Like that interaction that kind of made me want to just continue with this, because you don't get that every day. And as fans, you don't get you don't get
that personal touch.
I don't see that all the time online, and I can now share that with people, and I like to share those type of stories with the people.
And he was every bit as amazing and just classy a guy as you would expect, and I love that. But I have to say, Jazz, like, seeing him with his family after the game, his parents were there, his kids were there. Like, he came back out on the field. Like, I just, it has been Watson vibes.
But as we know with Tom Brady, you never say never. You never say never. So Adam Thompson, thank you actually for that.
I knew that there was someone.
Info, and it is the Commanders. All right, so we know they'll mess that up. They won't sign anyone good. So we're safe with the free agents.
Well, and if you had a chance to go play for the Patriots or play for the Commanders, hopefully they still want to come here.
Yes. Speaking of coming here, I hope everyone starts to join the show now that I see the score of the Celtics game.
Right,
up 70-45 at halftime. Not like that's a big surprise or anything. They actually flashed a pretty funny thing on the screen. Now how the betting is all the rage. Everyone's betting. They're always giving all the lines for all the degenerate gamblers.
Who are you calling a degenerate? You talking about yourself?
Probably. But if you want to win some money, it ain't going to be on the Celtics, because
the lines are crazy.
So the line, and this was a few minutes ago, even before this score, it was for the Celtics to win. The money line was Celtics were minus 8,000.
Oh, there you go.
Meaning
perfect. Bet $8,000 and you get 100.
If you want $100, you got to be at 8,000. So I'd say Vegas has pretty much chalked this up as a W. All right, so
I like that, AK. Look at what he just said.
All right, so see, this
love that. That makes me happy.
This is good. AK bringing the knowledge right there. That is fantastic to know. And it's not surprising.
Well, you got to tell them what it is.
It's not surprising that so in the Pats division, all teams are over the cap except us.
Right. So we've got the Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins all over.
Yeah.
Which is
wonderful. One thing the Pats really have an advantage of with the salary, especially if they draft a QB, is all of those other teams that the Pats are competing against in the division, their quarterback is taking up a massive part of their salary cap.
Although the Dolphins have to make a Tua decision this offseason.
They're bringing him back. I mean, there's no alternative. 99% they bring him back.
Okay.
There's but he's at a cost. He's probably going to cost like at least $30 million a year.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think that they want to pay $30 million to?
Yes.
Okay.
Quarterback.
Listen, I love Tua, so I support that.
Such a just a premium. It's the most important position.
Yep. And I'm assuming the Jets have Rodgers locked in for another year, right?
Yes, yep,
okay.
Yep. At massive
I'm sure.
Cap it.
Oh yeah.
So the Pats and they thought they can maybe do that with Mac. Can use that extra, because if we draft the QB, he's going to be under the rookie salary structure, whatever it is for.
Yeah, and Max still is.
I'm curious if Adam knows what the slotted salary for
the third pick,
for number 3 QB is. Maybe somewhere between 10 and 15. I'm not sure. Maybe less. But
I feel like it might even be less.
It's probably less. Yeah.
Yeah.
With that money, you can sign. They need to sign some impact players, which
right.
I think O-line is
100%.
One of the biggest ones.
Yeah. It sounds like Dave Andrews is not hanging it up, which is good.
No, I don't think he would.
I do not want Trent Brown back. I don't care that he's excited.
Trent Brown's
his motivation will be gone.
His access was rescinded the minute he started
bashing Bill.
Yep. I mean, he was right about his criticism with Malik Cunningham. But you don't say, anyone making a business decision doesn't talk against your employer on things like that.
Right.
So Trent Brown he's definitely persona non grata. I don't think he could play for free and they'd want him.
Yeah. And he's talented, but he's lazy.
Yeah.
And I know. And injury prone.
It is a shame because the dude is he's like two people.
I know. He's massive.
You ever see if anyone ever wants to get the kind of idea of how massive Trent Brown is, you Google the picture of him next to Larry Donald, and Larry Donald looks like a little kindergartner next to him. Like, it's insane how massive this guy is. Yeah. And I mean, he was great when Brady was here.
I was going to say he was great the first time he was here.
Yeah.
This time around, not as much.
Yeah.
I think his motivation dwindled. I think I think injuries were there and all of that. I think he was, frustrated by losing. And I think he was frustrated with Bill's ways, and I get that. But at the same time, like, you don't do that if you want to make a home.
Right. So it's definitely an end of an era with the two most iconic faces of the Patriots in Brady and Belichick gone. Yeah. My mom, actually, I was talking to her.
Yeah.
And she posed a really interesting question to me.
Oh, what'd she say?
She said, first of all, they're going to make movies about them. And
they already are.
And she said, her question was, who's going to play Brady? And who plays Belichick?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, well, when is this movie being made, and which decade of Brady's career?
Well, probably as a player.
Which decade of?
I think her. I don't know if it's already been made, but she's like, I can see like Tom Cruise or someone playing. And then my dad in the back was like, oh, Belichick, that's De Niro right there. So it was. I
could see De Niro doing a good Belichick. I don't like the Tom Cruise move at all. So.
And my dad's like, he's really short. So. Well, you know what technology they can make.
Oh my God! First of all, I can't stand Tom Cruise. Yeah. Second of all, Tom Cruise is way too old to play Tom Brady. Yeah. That is not going to work. I think some
CGI.
Yeah, no, I think some young up and comer would play Brady.
Yeah. Ryan Gosling.
Oh, I hate him. I like Ryan Reynolds. Come on, get your Ryans right. Get your Ryans right.
I don't know. I'm just throwing out some names. Okay?
Ryan Reynolds would make a phenomenal Brady.
Okay.
I would be good with that.
All right.
I love him.
We got Swizz's vote.
I actually rather see him play Edelman, but that's a separght,
that would be interesting. If they did the whole team.
Yeah, right. Who would play Gronk?
You know what?
Owen Wilson.
Will Ferrell.
Oh,
Will Ferrell would be a great Gronk because he's so goofy. Okay, actually, you know what? Jazz. That's not good. Here we go.
A young Matt Damon could play a young Tom Brady.
I kind of agree with that.
But Matt Damon now is too old to play Brady. A young Matt Damon could have been Brady. No. Yes. You guys, you got to evolve.
No. I mean, first of all, it's Hollywood. And these guys, they don't age. A lot of these guys don't age.
Although if you look at, they actually, I saw, because the Golden Globes were like earlier this week or last week or something. And I saw a photo and it was Ben and Matt. From when they it was like Good Will Hunting years, and then it was Ben and Matt now, and you don't think that they're aging, and you see those photos side by side, and you're like, oh, yeah,
that's almost like 30 years.
Exactly,
in 30 years, you'll notice the difference.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
Although one dude that doesn't, which is crazy, I think he's.
Oh my God, Paul Rudd.
No.
Oh, Paul Rudd doesn't age though.
Oh, well, yes, but you know who doesn't age? It's crazy.
Who?
Mario Lopez. That dude, you put on Saved by the Bell. He looks.
Oh my God, he's gonna be AC Slater forever.
Crazy how that dude is not aged. I want to know what he's drinking.
Maybe he can be Gronk. Maybe he could be Amendola.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, Amendola.
Oh my goodness, but Paul Rudd doesn't age either. Yeah, watch Paul Rudd in Clueless, and then watch him in something now.
I guess so.
He does not age. It's actually like a whole thing. They show photos of Paul Rudd through the years to show that he doesn't age. It's kind of funny.
That is interesting.
Yeah,
I was almost going to pull it up, but anyways, all right. So,
but wait, so what about you? Are you on board with the Mayo era?
Absolutely,
100%. You all in? Are you all in?
All in. There's
okay. So what is the one move? Okay, so we're talking like coaching wise.
Yeah.
So we're talking like GM, OC, DC, safety teams, like all or special teams, not safety teams. Yeah. Special teams, like all of these. If there is one position that they have to nail, what is it? And is there someone that you have identified?
That's so hard with a team with all of these holes. But assuming they're going to draft a QB, they have to nail O-line. O-line, they got to protect him because we saw. I mean, even if you go back to the Tom Brady years, even the greatest of all time, when you don't have any time and we don't have a line,
oh yeah,
they're pretty. You know,
well, remember when Scarnecchia like semi-retired and they struggled and then they brought him back?
Yeah. It's,
you know,
I mean,
like,
O-line coaching too. Yeah, O-line coach.
You know,
but I mean, their inability to invest.
Right, I'm talking coaching.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying coaching wise, not position wise.
Oh, not players. You said. Okay,
I'm saying coach wise.
Okay, repeat the question.
Okay, so there's all these different coaching potential holes. You know, we've got the GM, you know, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams, like all of these different places where they could make changes.
Okay.
What's the one they have to nail to fix this? Not fix the team, but like to ensure that they evolve.
The OC, offensive coordinator.
Okay. And do you have someone in mind that you would want to see there?
We have a great defense as it is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's not a lot of names that I'm super familiar with.
I saw some interesting
other than, you know, the one obvious choice,
Josh McDaniels,
which I would be fine with that.
I don't hate the McDaniels move.
He was not a good coach. He was. I mean, think about this. He got Mac to the playoffs.
Exactly. In his rookie year.
Yeah.
And I mean, Josh McDaniels knows how to coach an offense. He's conservative. He's gonna frustrate us. He's not gonna be fancy, and he's not gonna pull trick plays out all the time.
I disagree. Remember the Brady years?
Well, but look at the team he had. It depends who they add to the roster. But I was going to say, but I'm okay with that as long as they have the talent to not need to like pull things out. I also do wonder if they had the talent, would it look different? And also, how much was Josh buttoning heads with Belichick or things like that? Like, who knows? Because I thought that the offense would look different when O'Brien came in, even though I wasn't excited about O'Brien. I was excited that it wasn't a defensive coordinator. So I, at the very least, figured we would see something look different.
Yeah.
And our offense basically looked the same as it did when McDaniels was here and when Patricia was here, which makes you think that Belichick had a lot of say in how the offense actually ran.
Yeah.
So with Mayo at the helm, it's not going to look like that no matter what. I still want O'Brien gone. I do not like the guy. I want him out. I want him out.
He didn't show me much this year at all. And even going back to the Brady years, it wasn't. He didn't wow me at all.
Absolutely.
The way you've said it from your Alabama.
Oh my God, Marie was like cheering when he was gone, and then was so upset when he came here.
Yeah.
You know, because the Bama fans hate him.
Yeah.
So but I would be on board with Josh McDaniels. But so what about so I'm throwing this out there because it's a name I've heard thrown around.
Okay.
I don't think it's the direction I would go. And I certainly don't think we should have a coaching staff of all former Patriots. But what about Welker?
Ooh, I don't know enough about it. He was down in Miami. I wouldn't hate it. I know he's been doing a lot of work in Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, I Jazz had mentioned, or Harry or someone, the fresh face would be, I guess, something that I would welcome.
Yeah.
Welker, he always got along good with the players. He's, he was a fantastic player himself.
Absolutely. There was just that Edelman guy that came along,
I don't know, because I haven't seen the body of work of his.
Right.
I wouldn't be opposed to it if Mayo, I do trust in Mayo, and if he brought him in, I would.
Wasn't Miami the most offensive? Weren't they the highest average scoring team?
I mean, I know they were putting up some crazy numbers in the middle of the season. They put up 70 points in one of the games.
Right. Yeah, that's when their guys got injured. Because their coach is an idiot.
But
AK, if you're still there, am I right? Was Miami still I thought that they were definitely on the higher offensive side, and if that was Welker's doing,
Okay.
I don't hate that.
Okay. So we'll do a show about that once we get a
Once there's a name.
So
and then position you're saying
draft. You're not sold on drafting a quarterback.
No, because I don't think it's worth the cost to move up 2 spots.
But we don't
to
have
ensure.
To. We can just stay at 3.
Yes, we can stay at 3. But what I'm saying is, if they have their eye on one guy, if they're like Caleb Williams is the guy, then they have to move up in order to ensure that they get that. And the problem is the cost of doing something like that makes no sense to me. I like the idea of keeping Mac, giving him encouragement, positivity, support, receivers, and an O-line, and bringing on like a vet guy, not Hoyer, although I respect what Hoyer always brought to us, but I've actually heard Kirk Cousins rumors.
Hey, you'd love that.
No. But he's talented enough to be if Kirk Cousins was willing to come in with the understanding that he wasn't going to be the starter and that it's Mac's position unless it's not, and then we have a reputable, solid backup who also could potentially teach and help Mac grow. Yeah. With a guy like McDaniels, who we both believe knows enough. So
here's my thing on that.
Okay.
I want to keep Mac, but my worry is that they have ruined him mentally. I don't know if it's past the point of no return, if he can ever get that confidence back.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, that's why you have someone like Kirk Cousins there, who can jump in.
But if Kirk Cousins comes in, he's not going to want to not come in without the guarantee of being the starter.
Which is why you'd have to have a situation where.
So in your scenario, you want to draft Harrison, is that?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
All right. Let's move on to and Jazz chimes in, which is Jazz is
he's our motivational
guru of positivity.
Yes.
Encouragement, positivity. Have some in mind. Jazz. They should hire you. Actually, I want to amend my choice for OC. I want it Jazz because his positivity will just lift anybody up.
He just needs to be the motivational sideline guy.
Yeah, just the sideline. No, I know. He could be the what was the guy? Brady had his own guy. What was that guy's name?
Oh, Guerrero. Alex.
He can be the new Guerrero.
Yep.
Aside from all.
Yep.
Controversy.
Yep. And I will say, just to your Mac point.
Yeah.
I would 100% have him sit down with a sports psychologist and everything prior to making a decision that they're keeping him and going in that direction. Mm-hmm. I would absolutely I wouldn't, it would be contingent on him doing that and them knowing that, he's in a good headspace. Because the thing about Mac that's interesting and just very quick.
Okay.
Very quick. The thing about Mac, he's tough as nails, and so we know what we're hearing, but we don't know what he's feeling. So that's it. That's my point.
I mean, it was nice to see him at the press conference today. It's a good sign.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on.
The only other player that I know of being there was Uche.
Nice. Yeah. All right, let's move on. We got
Wemby mania.
A lot of sports going on.
We got Wemby mania.
So how about them Celtics? They are just everything is still going as planned. Mm-hmm. They're dominating the league.
Yeah.
Injuries have been, they've been, aside from the normal,
they're relatively healthy.
They've been healthy.
Well, they're 30 points up in the third. Now, granted, they're playing the Spurs, and I know the Spurs don't have, a super strong record and things like that, but they're 30 points up with KP and DW both out.
I mean, this team is
they are something else.
They're talented, and they're proving to be deeper than we thought with having a lot of these guys out and playing so well.
As they turn the ball over as we speak.
I mean, currently we're up 75-49, and they are probably not even going full throttle, to be honest.
I mean, what I like about a game like this is that it will allow the starters to rest.
Yeah.
They will probably sit the whole fourth, which is perfect.
Absolutely.
And Cornette can play as long as he wants.
The new guy Jordan Walsh is back up. I'd like to see him make a debut.
See him get to play. The place will go nuts. People are so excited for him.
The thing that seems different about the Celtics this year is they're holding home court. They are undefeated at home. One thing that they've shockingly struggled the past couple of years is winning those tough home games.
Yeah. Especially in the
Unfortunately,
playoffs.
I think in game 7 against Miami.
So painful.
But the Celtics,
although that was also an injury issue.
Well, yeah, there was a lot, but still, the Celtics teams of the past, I feel, even with injuries, don't lose that game. And a game this year that I find as kind of an example of how different this team is that Minnesota game.
Yes.
We lose that game last year.
100%.
We were down 100%. Probably 7 or 9 points with 2 minutes left. We came back. We showed our mettle. We won that game this year.
And actually, another game that I was so sure, like last year's team 100% would have lost, was the first Detroit game that we played.
That's true. Yes.
We were down big, remember?
And
we were
down like 20.
Yep. And that was won 100% last year.
They would have packed it in.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Their mentality, they're tougher this year. They are, there's no egos. Like that's what's really cool. We've got a team. I mean, you've got JT. I mean, first of all, we've got 5 starters who are all in the conversation of being on the All-Star team, which is unheard of. But then you've got a guy like Al, who is a potential Hall of Famer. I think a ring or two solidifies Hall of Fame for him. But you've got a guy like Al, who was a starter last year, who has completely contently moved into a 6th man / backup starter role. And is thriving.
Yeah.
And no complaints. I mean, Al's not the kind of guy to complain anyway, but like no complaints. There's no, whatever, like they're rooting hard for each other. If JB, is having an off game, he's totally good giving the ball to JT. Like they love each other and they support each other. They're egoless.
Like Jazz says, this team will play till that clock hits 0. They will fight till the end,
which is not true of the past.
And they didn't necessarily have that last year, but this year that's the feel I have. I think the team has it. They're more confident.
100%.
So I mean, I think it's pretty much coast until playoff time, and that's when we'll see some real. We'll see what they're made of. But so far, it looks amazing. I'm very confident.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing the evolution of Missoula. We're seeing him, first of all, he has his own coaching staff, so again, shows what having some say in who's around you will do. But also last year was so, everybody was put in such a shit position. Yeah. And, I liked Ime as a coach prior to everything, but he was so selfish in how he put everybody in such a bad spot. Yeah. And the players were thrust into this position where they had to adjust.
It was a tough last year. They were put into oops. Oh, hold on. No. First, Clive calling here. Hey, Mom, I'm doing my show live right now. I'm doing it live, yeah.
You're on the air.
You're on the air. So if you want, go to my YouTube and check it out. Okay? We got about 10, 15 minutes left in the show. Love you. Sorry. Boy. She always asks when's the show on. So
well, you are an hour later than normal. So in her defense,
I know.
This would have been an okay time to call.
I know.
I'm surprised she's not watching. Watching the Celtics though. She loves them.
Yeah. See, and you know what? Amen to that. Our mom's the best, and you know what? It's the beauty of live. I said beauty of live television. Beauty of live television.
Oh man.
But there's some people that I can't ignore their call.
No.
My mom is one of them.
Well, and not for nothing, but she'll keep calling if you don't pick up. So
guilty not taking it because I'm so close to her.
Yeah.
My moms really are the best.
Yeah. And says shout out to Mom.
The fact that she loves the show and listens.
Your mom is the cutest sports fan in the world.
I could not let my number one fan down. I had to. Too bad I couldn't have linked it up and Mom, you're on air.
You should put it right up to the mic.
Yeah.
Oh man!
Big shout out to the mom.
I know. She's probably watching the Celtics and excited about the game.
I gotta get it so that we can put callers on air. Yeah,
we'll do that. We'll get there.
How cool would that be?
We will definitely get there.
Actually, you know what? I just thought I have people call and then I just put on speakerphone.
I think that's.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry, it just light bulb was going off.
Oh man!
Live as we speak.
Oh man. Well, and you want to talk about coaching legends and stuff. Tonight, we were playing against Popovich, who's one of the all-time greats. And again, I love the sense of humor. They were talking to him before the game about Derek White being out, and Derek White obviously started with the Spurs, and Pop really instilled that confidence in him, and Derek said believed in him when he didn't believe in himself. And, so they said in his pregame press conference, Derek White's out today. And he said, oh, he's scared of us, So it was really cute, really cute to see. I love the relationship between DW and Pop. And I actually really, for as great as Wemby is expected to be, I'm glad he's being coached by a guy like Popovich. I think that's long-term going to benefit his career.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Pop he's one of the GOATs of the NBA.
100%.
He'll go down in history, up there with, the Red Auerbachs, Phil Jackson's,
absolutely,
Pat Riley's, all those great coaches.
But I think this team, the Celtics team, they're night and day, in terms of just their confidence. And I think their trust in Joe is different. I think their respect and trust in each other.
Yeah.
And as much as it pains me to say this, because how I feel about Marcus Smart, and I would give anything to have him be part of this team. Hold on. I would give anything to have him be part of this team.
Yeah.
I do think that the confidence in the guys grew when they knew they couldn't depend on him. I think when
I think their confidence grew when you have a guy that's 7'4" walking the door that pretty much does everything: play defense, shoot 3-pointers.
True. KP is a huge
spread the floor.
Yeah, he's a game changer.
Smart was amazing, heart and soul. But you can't teach height. The guy's 7'4". A lot of skill.
Yep.
He's finally healthy. It's been.
But I'm talking about the confidence and the just the the quiet leadership that the Jays have and stuff, they really, this is now their team.
Yeah.
Whereas before it belonged to the three of them. Mm-hmm. This is now their team. It's the Jays. It's not,
okay,
anybody
so Celtics,
else.
We know they're title contenders. They're going to be fantastic.
You don't say.
Let's cover some of the other.
Should we talk about our hatred for the Red Sox?
We don't really have to talk much about Bruins. They're still awesome.
Yeah.
Playoff time will really define them.
Absolutely.
We have to address the goddamn Red Sox.
Can I just say, I saw today, so winter weekend is coming up. So for those of you.
Oh, Jim Rice is going to be there, right?
He's our headliner, and none of management will be there. And get this, they put out the rules and the schedule and stuff today. No cameras.
You're kidding.
So remember last year what happened when Sam Kennedy and all that?
Yeah. So for the listeners that aren't aware, the Red Sox hold this little pep rally every winter.
Yep, for the fans.
Winter Fest, and usually they roll out their new free agents or.
Yep, and they bring in their stars. Like in the past, they've had Pedro and Poppy and Pedroia and all these guys, and you get to meet some of them.
It's a rah-rah session to pump up everybody or celebrate the free agents or whatever.
And you have to pay a decent amount to go.
Obviously, it's the Red Sox.
Yep.
Last year they did it, and because the Red Sox have been so terrible in not signing anybody at all, they got booed.
Yep. And it went viral.
This year's format was supposedly supposed to have the same format.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the Red Sox waited for this long because they were maybe hopeful they might sign somebody, but they haven't done jack. I mean, they've barely done anything. They've had a couple of minor signings, short year contracts. But they released about a week ago the announcement that they're not going to be doing a Q&A. The management won't be standing up there in front of fans.
That was even a month ago. Their headliner is Jim Rice, who you can see in the Nesson studio in every game, and I'm not knocking Jim Rice. He's a great Red Sox, but he's their headliner when in the past it would have been Poppy and Pedro.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad.
And I am pretty darn positive when it comes to teams. I always look at the glass half full. The Red Sox are really testing my patience.
Oh yeah, they're dead to me right now.
And here's the problem that I have. One of the big problems I have with that is that It's not cheap to go to the games.
No.
It is very expensive. The Red Sox are one of the most expensive tickets in the league.
Yeah, especially if they're playing the Yankees.
So I have no problem paying that if they're putting that money back into the team and signing. Back in the days when they were competing with the Yankees, the Yankees would sign. They'd get they'd get Clemens, and we'd get Manny Ramirez, and they'd get they
try to one up each other.
Gary Sheffield, and we'd we try for Alex Rodriguez or whoever.
Yeah.
And these days, all they're doing is pretty much trading all of our best talent away for
nothing.
Maybe middle of the road prospects, or letting players go in free agency. Whether it be Schwarber, Eduardo Rodriguez. I mean, the list is so long.
It's painfully long.
It's so long.
And Breslow basically said yesterday that this is, I forget what he called it, but essentially a gap year while we wait for our talent to develop.
Yeah.
Like, that's bullshit.
They've been saying that for how many years now?
Since 2018 when we won the World Series.
It's bad.
Yeah,
it's bad.
It's bad. It is so hard to get excited about the Red Sox. And this is not the Red Sox way. It tarnishes the reputation. I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, like, the owners just need to sell. I mean, it is just, they need to sell. They don't care. They're not invested.
The owners are no longer.
They're not invested. They don't
treating
care.
this like a big market team. Like, they're not, it's not reflecting the prices that they're charging. It's
and
not.
The players aren't going to want to come in free agency because they're not believing.
Well, the Red Sox still have that name, and
but if it came down to knowing that you're going to be, if you're a guy like JT or Kenley or someone, and you're towards the end of your career, and there's one more chance to win, are you going to come to Boston?
Well, here's the thing: that money still is kind of the biggest deal. Yeah. But when in the past, when
we're not offering money.
When it was close, the Red Sox might have that edge.
Yeah,
and it still, to a degree, still does have a name because Kenley came here because of the. Granted, he played against us in the World Series, and he saw what it was like here when it was the golden years.
But also, they've become more vocal in the fact that they're going to do nothing.
Yes, yeah. But let me say this though. One big problem, I forget who it was that we were talking to, is the fact that it is the historic franchise, the Red Sox. The fact that they play in this museum, this historical landmark of Fenway Park, is that the Red Sox have no motivation to change because of the fact that they are going to sell out the park every year because of just those fans that are coming to Boston that want to come to the park just as it's a destination point on their list. Like, Fenway Park is a historical landmark. Non-fans want to come here. So they're going to continue to sell the park out, and it's not going to... think about the Sox-Yankees game that we were at the end of the season last year. It was dead. Okay.
The vibe was awful. It was not sold out.
Well, I'll say this. It probably was sold out. The fans that had tickets either tried to resell them and didn't sell them or weren't there. I guarantee you that game was sold out for months.
That's fair.
That's the problem is that until it hits the teams in the
financially,
book, there's never going to be incentive to change. And I mean, I don't know necessarily, what's going to fix the problem because it's they've definitely lost. They lost their way.
Yeah,
and they're not.
Yeah, and the fans haven't lost their way. The fans know what they're looking for. We haven't changed, but the team. I mean, it's sad. It's depressing. I now feel bad for my hatred for Bloom because he really was such a scapegoat, and it's so obvious.
Well, the thing is that the new GM, Craig Breslow, is basically Chaim Bloom 2.0.
Absolutely,
he's performing, you can tell he's really just a puppet for Henry, doing the same exact initiative. 100% from before. So
I think the difference is simply just he said a little bit more that has shown we're doing nothing. Whereas Chaim would kind of lead you on a little and make you think maybe we're doing something. And I think that's the biggest difference. But I mean, there is one game that I want to go to this season and one game only at this point, and I won't even go if I can't go for free.
Which game?
Whenever they have Trot there to honor his Hall of Fame.
I get you.
And honestly,
you're not getting it for free, so you're not going.
Socks addict, help me out. But also like I would go for the ceremony and leave at this point. I'm so annoyed with how they're doing everything. So,
well, that brings us up to the hour.
Yeah.
Flown by as usual. The inaugural YouTube episode of Our Bleepin City. We should be back to our normal time, 7 to 8 next week. It was a little bit later today because we're setting up all the
studio
stuff. You know, it's I got to be the producer and the IT guy for the show and everything. So we will keep getting better. It was, it was awesome having all the people that joined today.
Absolutely.
Big shout out to everybody. Jazz, my man Adam Karnick, Harry Man Jr., Taryn. I hope he can catch the show on replay. I'm sure he's probably doing work on IE with all the other shows.
Oh, for sure. And Mom.
And of course, my amazing mother, who
is JT's number one fan.
I'll have her watch the replay of the show because we did that segment on who's going to play Tom Brady and Belichick.
Oh, that's right.
A very cool segment. We might have to keep bringing that up or put a poll.
We should do a poll.
We should do a poll.
I like that. Let's do a poll.
So
it'll go along with our giveaway.
Yes, well, we will be doing more giveaways. Yes. Thank you to you for contributing to the first ever episode on YouTube, Our Bleepin City. Keep telling your friends, and you all keep telling your friends.
Tell your friends, tell your enemies.
It was a fun first show.
Absolutely.
And thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week, 7 to 8 p.m. right here on YouTube. Take care.